Good morning from the Treadmill at Anytime Fitness in Sagamore Hills, Ohio. It is January 1st. I think it's 5:45 a.m. I have the place to myself. Surprisingly enough, however, I'm sure many people were out or up late last night celebrating the new year, which is great. To each their own. Personally, I was in bed by 8 o'clock. Because I go to bed early and I get up early. I was up at 4 with a good 8 hours of rest. Said to myself, I'm not going to wait to go to the gym because Dean Caputo's Powerhouse Gym didn't open till 7. And I wanted to get an early workout so I could get my day going, which is exactly what I did. So I bounced over here. Again, I have the place to myself. I've already done a pull workout, which is basically back and buys, lower back and whatnot. Been in a lot of pain lately. Just throw this out. Mid 50s is catching up to me a little bit. I've put on a lot of weight. Not happy about that, but some of that was by design, which I'll get into here in a minute. But that being said, I got up, got in here, did a pull workout. Now I'm going to walk for about 25 to 30 minutes here on the treadmill. I am at a 5% incline, walking at roughly 3.3 miles per hour, which is optimal for me for cardio and fat burning. As I've said before, from a cardio perspective, the best way to burn fat is to walk. If you're going to walk on a treadmill, get the incline up and don't hold on to the handrails. Okay, if you can do so safely. So that being said, that's where I'm at, and this is what's going on. So just a brief little New Year's chat for some of you that may be interested, and if you're not, well, then click off the channel and move on about your day, and I hope you have a wonderful day. No offense to me at all, I could care less, but if you choose to listen to what I have to say, enjoy. So I got up early, came over here, figure I'd get a workout in, and I know that this facility over the next week is going to end up with a lot of people coming in to sign up. Planet Fitness is going to have massive signups over the next few weeks because of people making New Year's resolutions. Okay, hate to break it to you guys, but I would probably say that about 2 to 3% of people that make New Year's resolutions actually make that a sustainable commitment. It's not about resolutions, it's about commitments. Do you have the discipline to sustain the commitment or resolution that you're trying to make? And discipline comes in many different ways. Diet, exercise, character. Basically, do what you say you're going to do. If you say you're not going to do something, then don't do it. It's really simple, actually. But a lot of people have a hard time with that because it's just part of our human nature. So, I had an old mentor tell me a long time ago, just show up. If you just show up, you'd be amazed at the results. And the hardest part of really any commitment is just showing up. It's like a lot of people don't do that. On days that I don't really feel like working out, and I'm like, I'm just really not in the mood for this. It's easy to say, F it. It's raining out, or I got other things to do, or I really don't feel like doing this, and just sit around and do nothing. But on those days when I'm like, I need to just show up. Once you get there, it's probably actually going to be one of the best workouts of your life, or one of the best workouts of the month. Surprisingly enough, because you just showed up. And you do that day over day, over day, over day, over day. And the results over time are amazing. It's just the same as if you're doing things with bad habits. I just told you I put on a bunch of weight. Some of it was intentional because I have goals going into 2025, which are going to sound counterintuitive here in a second when I tell you, but then again, not. And some of it was unintentional. So we get ourselves into ruts. And when you get into a rut of poor diet, you don't really realize it until one day you step on the scale or you step back and you realize, holy crap, Okay, it's like, God bless it, man. You know, look, what have I done? Get out of the gym. Could be ruts in the way that you are with your family, not spending time with them on social media all the time. I'm guilty of that. I scroll a lot. It's terrible. I need to scale that down. I actually want to start reading more in 2025. Excuse me. So it's easy to get into ruts and really start to develop very poor habits and poor traits. For me, as far as weight gain, you see in my cheeks right here, I put on a lot of weight. I'm still carrying a lot of muscle, okay, but I've got a lot of belly fat. Now, I had said to you that some of that was intentional, some of it wasn't, okay? I eat a pretty clean diet, but I got into a rut of eating out a lot. And when I would go out to eat, just because you think you're out in a restaurant and you're ordering healthy, doesn't mean that you are. Oh, well, I got the steak and I got it with this potato and I didn't get sour cream, but I had 3 rolls with their butter, etc., etc., etc. I ate healthy. Well, you ate kind of healthy. You didn't eat totally healthy. And that's kind of what happened with me. I found myself often eating fast food. Even though I'm getting Diet Cokes and cutting down on the calories, still consuming a lot of poor calories. There's an old saying, don't count your calories, make your calories count. Protein, fat content, carbohydrate content, things of that nature. That's what that means. Well, any fast food is not making your calories count unless you're going to Wendy's and getting a chili with a Diet Coke. Wendy's chili is actually very lean and good. So moving on from that, I am up to 217 pounds, which is a heck of a lot for me. But I said part of that was by design. I haven't brought this up much in the last many months, but this is part of a New Year's program for me starting today. Again, I'm at 217 right now. I'm at 28.8% BMI, which is terrible. According to today's standards, I am clinically obese. I haven't brought up GenFit in quite a while, James Evans Nutrition and Fitness, because I've kind of been holding back and waiting to get some things in place to really pursue that further. That's my thing for the beginning of this year. Not a resolution, it's a goal. Starting at 217 by June, 6 months from now, I'm going to be down to 185 with a BMI of around 15 to 18%, which is healthy and average. I'm going to be able to run a 5K in 25 to 30 minutes. That's my goal. Right now, I do a 5K, it'd be about 32 minutes. Okay, 32 to 33 minutes, about a 10 to 11 minute mile, which, I mean, hey, for a 55-year-old guy that's a truck driver, I guess that's pretty good, but I want to get that to 25 to 30, and again, get down to about 180 to 185 on the scale with a BMI, which is more important, of 15 to 18%. Knock that down 10 percentage points. Okay, so I'm doing that because a lot of the principles that I would use with clients for GenFit are the same principles that I'm using for myself, except that I'm going to use myself as the before and after. So those are both personal goals and business goals for myself going into 25. I don't really have any goals for trucking. Okay, a lot of you guys are here for trucking and you hate these, quote, health-related videos. Unfortunately, a lot of you men and women, you don't really care about your health. And that's terrible, because you should. You care about the truck, you care about everything else, but you don't care about your health. Well, I got a news flash for you. When you have a heart attack, you can't go to Cummins and get a new one for 40 grand. All right, so you can replace anything on that truck. You can't replace your heart. You can't replace your body. I mean, technically you can get a hip replacement and whatnot, but it's a lot easier just to take care of yourself. So I don't necessarily, again, have goal-related things to do with Leatherneck Transportation and Bruce Oakley. My goals for Bruce Oakley and Leatherneck Transportation, my trucking company, and my big green Peterbilt, are quite simply to work Monday through Friday as hard as I can, maintaining a good diet and exercise, which end up, I'm telling you, it's the free Oakley workout plan. Okay, rolling that tarp in and out of that trailer, doing the bows, shoveling, everything else, sweeping that thing out. There's exercise involved, and I like it, and I am not regretting the switch back to end dump one bit. Nothing against pneumatics. Quick blurb here. I like pneumatics. It was great. I had a lot of time to do a lot of things. Okay, but glad I made the switch back to end dump. One other goal for 25, as I've said before, time with the family, time for myself, time for my health, time out of that truck. There's plenty of time to operate that truck Monday through Friday. If the money's there, which it should be, great. If it's not, I'll make it up somewhere else. Okay, again, that's why GenFit is one of my goals for 2025, starting with myself. So I'm going to be doing befores and afters and progress of my path to June with these goals. And something that I've always remembered, goals should be SMART. It's an acronym. SMART. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. SMART goals. Okay? A lot of people just make a whimsical goal. Okay? And they don't really work. You need to have benchmarks. They need to be specific. They need to be measurable. They need to be attainable. A goal unattainable, it's a pipe dream. It's not really a real effort. Okay, they need to be reasonable. You can't put some extreme like I'm going to run a marathon in 3 days when you've never ran a day in your life. That's kind of BS. That's not reasonable. And it needs to be timely. Don't make it so far out or so quick that there's no way you're going to achieve it. But you need to pressure yourself a little bit, tighten the screw down some, and make sure you can get to that goal in a timely manner. For me, 6 months is, I think, a reasonable amount of time to get where I need to be for this program that I'm putting myself into. At that point, in June, I'm going to open up the door to 5 men or women for free that I'm going to train or offer to train or coach. Not necessarily call it training, call it coaching for free for a period of 90 days. So from June, basically from Memorial Day through Labor Day, June, July, August. Okay, and I'm going to put a program together individually for 5 people and work with them for 90 days to achieve some of their SMART goals. So that's my 2025 path. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good thing. I'm doing it for personal development, professional development. In the end, there's a financial goal of generating some money with it. I didn't do this training and I didn't go through all of my recertifications for nothing. However, the ultimate goal is to help people become healthier, help people have a more vibrant life. I've been telling everybody I was 56. I had a laugh at this one. Talk about me being a dumbass. I was out in Colorado, if you follow along, last weekend, and I was there with my sister and my niece, and I was telling her, yeah, I was 56. I came back home, and my wife said to me, what are you going to be, 56 this year? I said, no, I'm 56 now. She goes, no, you're not. You were born in 69. It's 24. It's just becoming 25. I'm like, oh my God, you know what? You're right. I'm 55. I was adding a year, didn't even know it, but I just laughed. I was like, oh my God, you're right. Well, all right. I've been telling everybody I was 56. I'll be 56 for 2 years instead of 1 year. So I'm 55 years old. I don't believe that I have a 55-year-old body. I'm heavier, but my sister and my niece, who see me once a year for a few days, said, you look like you're in your early 40s. Some of you may not agree with that. Some of you may. Truthfully, I don't give a crap. Okay? The simple fact of the matter is, we look around, and we can all do this. Look at people you went to high school with as you get older, and you can look at people fully gray, weathered skin. You can tell they haven't taken care of themselves in any way. And I am no master by any stretch of the imagination, but there's a lot of people that don't take care of themselves, and they might be 55, but they look like they're 65. Okay, they might drink a lot, they might smoke, not do any exercise at all, have an atrocious diet, heaven forbid if they're involved with illegal drugs. God help you, please, get out of that. They might not get their proper rest, okay? There's a lot of things involved that can age you. So I'm fortunate that I've taken care of myself, not because of vanity. It's not that. Don't necessarily care how I look. It's more about how I feel and whether or not I still have quality of life. I say this before, longevity matters. So there's a lot that comes into play with that. And that is my goal with GenFit. It's giving people quality of life and longevity, giving you a chance at a longer, more quality life. Instead of one that is just full of shortness of breath, sitting on the couch, you can't bend over to tie your shoes. Man, you stand at the urinal and you can't see what you're doing. You get what I'm saying? Okay, that's not cool. So that's my goal with GenFit. Okay, and if my goal is focused on helping people, which it is, then any financial gain will just come from that. It'll be organic through the effort. All right, so I don't necessarily have financial goals, okay, except that eventually it's going to be, okay, in a paid capacity. But first you have to help people and establish, and that's my goal for 2025. As far as 2024 goes, I consider it to be a successful year. This time last year, literally, I was sitting at MHC Kenworth in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, getting a turbo actuator replaced on my Kenworth. And I had made the decision, sitting in a hotel room, I was done with that truck. It had cost me a fortune the last 2 months of the year, cost me a ton in downtime, and it was either I'm getting out of this Kenworth and getting into a new truck, or I'm done with this, I'm out of here. I'm not gonna hemorrhage that much money again into 2024. So I was able to purchase my Peterbilt, and I've had a flawless year for the most part with that Peterbilt. So I consider 24 to be a successful year. I ran 2024 with regular dirt pneumatics at Bruce Oakley, switched over to vacuum pneumatics halfway through the year, did that, learned a very valuable skill, enjoyed the heck out of it, and then obviously recently switched back to end dump at Bruce Oakley to be home weekly and spend time out of the truck for my family, my health, and myself. And consider that to be a very successful year. Financially, I just talked to payroll yesterday because I had a question about our website versus my last settlement. And if I'm not mistaken, I was right around $225,000 net this year. And my gross was right around $310,000 if memory serves me. And I'm going to put out a final year totals video here in the next week or two, kind of recap the year of my fuel, expenses, things of that nature. So, but just overall, it was like $310,000 gross with a net of like $225,000. Get this question all the time. I've said it a million times. Net at Oakley is gross minus fuel and Oakley expenses. Had to think about that here for a second. Okay, so it's gross minus fuel and def and Oakley insurance, base plates, things like that. Off of that net comes my truck payment, my maintenance, and my taxes, and then my personal bills. Okay, so listen to what I just said. Because I get this question, hey, does that include your truck payment? I literally just said off of net comes my truck payment, my taxes, and my maintenance. So take $7,000 roughly a month, $6,500 to $7,000 for those items, and you can do the math on it. All right. You all have a calculator on your phone. You're all capable of doing that. You can do it. So basically, 225 divided by 12 minus 7 is my monthly net, and that's after taxes and everything. So if you pepper me with questions, I'm just going to tell you to refer to the video I went over at the 20-minute mark. Not trying to be rude, but that's the problem with our society. I'm going to go over that briefly. You know, we have a problem with our society. People don't freaking listen. Generally, people are given all of the information to something, but we live in a world where people are so fast-paced and they want everything spoon-fed to them that they don't want to take the time to listen to what's being said, and they don't take the time to go look anything up. I can watch a video and a guy or gal will go over everything, and then you go read the comments and you're like, hey, what do you do about this? Like, the guy just said it freaking 4 times in the video. Did you freaking listen? Well, that's the same true of anything. Like I just said in this video here a few minutes ago, guys will be like, hey, does that include your truck payment and taxes? I literally just said net minus truck payment, minus taxes, minus maintenance. And yet you're asking me this question because you didn't listen. So people, you need to listen. Make that a goal for 2025 at what's being said, what's being asked, and what's being written. There's a saying, it's called attention to detail. All right, I'm a Marine, okay? I was a Marine for a long time, military for a long time. Attention to detail matters, okay? When they say 1/8 of an inch, they mean 1/8 of an inch. Not 1/8 and a smidge, not 1/8 and under a smidge. 1/8 of an inch is 1/8 of an inch. And a lot of you say, yeah, well, I'm not a Marine, so it doesn't matter. Well, that's great, but you can still freaking listen because it's human decency to listen to what's being said and pay attention. So that's something that I think everybody could work on in 2025. Moving on from all that, I'll get off my tangent. So as far as Bruce Oakley, again, I did roughly 310,000 gross, 225,000 net for the year. Took a lot of time off last year. A couple of weeks to do a house renovation, a month at the beginning of the year for the purchase of my truck, a few weeks for the APU. My truck was in for a week with gremlins out of the factory, but that was it. Was back in for a week later in the summer for my APU. So I had more than enough time off. I think if I had to add it all up, I probably was off for 3 months in 24, just for odds and ends things. So I'm very pleased with the year. I have no complaints whatsoever. I'm anticipating that 2025 and end up with Kyle will be just as good, being home weekly, but I'm not driven by revenue. I'm driven by other things, intangible things. Obviously, we need to make money, but there's an old saying, and that's revenue feeds the ego, profits feed the family. To me, it's not about how much I made. It's what did I profit? What did I actually have left over? Which includes a variable of things, taxes, things of that nature. And profit is much more than just money. What did I profit health-wise by being in this gym on this treadmill compared to sitting in that driver's seat or sitting in some dumbass truck stop somewhere over a weekend waiting for a Monday load? See, I'm not doing that. So to me, this is an intangible profit. You can't hold it in your hand, okay? It's a quality of life thing. I find that to be very profitable. So I believe that 25 will be much better, Lord willing, especially starting on January 20th when we get rid of this vegetable imbecile who's still sending money to Ukraine out of Washington, D.C. I think that we're going to see a lot of good change, and if you don't agree with me, I don't care. You have that right. You don't have to agree with me. Okay, you can hate me for it. Okay, I can't stand this current administration. Not trying to be political, I'm just being honest. They're ungodly, they're evil, everything they stand for is anti-Christ, and I'd be glad when they're gone. It's as simple as that, okay? So, whoop-de-freaking-do. So if you're a liberal, and you're a diehard lefty, and you think it's okay for kids to have their genitals cut off, that's great. That's your opinion. I don't agree with you, and very likely you don't agree with me, but that's fine. We can disagree. I don't hate you for it. That's the difference between us. And I got to laugh about this. So I love all these signs when you see. My wife actually did this. This lady had a sign in her yard. She was out front working. Hate doesn't live here. Okay, have you seen these? The hate doesn't live here. And my wife drove by and she goes, "Hey, what do you think about Donald Trump? I hate him. I wish he was dead." And we just drove off laughing. The hypocrisy. Oh my God. But the difference is, I don't hate Biden. I don't wish he was dead, even though he's alive, but he might as well be. I'll be glad when January 20th gets here and that idiot is long gone. Simple as that. Because I think that we'll be very prosperous, even though they're going to do everything they can, again, to make us unprosperous. Them meaning the people that oppose him in anything that has substance and morality to it. So moving on, what I mean by morality is something that's a little bit godly. I'm not saying that Trump is a moral man. He's a dude just like us. But I think the policies that he wants to implement and the people that he's bringing in are bringing in a more godly, moral lifestyle to this country. Simple as that. So moving on from all that, I expect that 2025 will be a good year, a better year in those aspects. However, and I'm going to finish with this, if you're a believer of the Bible, as I am, you know that the closer that we get to the return of Christ, that the world is literally going to continue to go to hell in a handbasket, regardless of who's president, regardless of who's in office, regardless of anything, because that's what God said. That the closer that we get to the return of Christ, the worse things will get. And even though Donald Trump is supposed to take office on January 20th, it's not here yet, here in 20 days, counting today, it hasn't happened yet. However, I believe it will, but things are still going to continue to get worse. Okay, if you believe in the Bible, then you believe in Satan. You should. And I do believe that Satan is in overdrive, trying to further his agenda and evil on our society and our world. And it will continue to get worse. But I do believe that there's things that we can do as individuals to make our lives better in spite of that. So those are my thoughts going into 2025. We are 32 minutes done here. We're going to get out of here, go get a shower, and start our New Year's Day out. Hey, Jimmy's Road Life, LYFE, at gmail.com. If you're interested in Oakley, I'll help you in any way that I can. GenFit330 at gmail.com. If you're interested in things that are health and lifestyle related, I am a certified nutritional coach. I am a certified personal trainer, and I am a certified tactical and strength conditioning coach. So, hey, I'm also fully CPR qualified. So if you guys have any interest in that, again, I'm starting my own 6-month program as an example for people between now and June. GenFit, JENFIT 330 at gmail.com. Catch y'all later. God bless you. Peace out.